I'm sorry. Here you go.
Aloha and welcome tonight. We wanna extend the mahalo for all of you in taking the time to join us tonight. If you haven't been on Zoom with us before, we absolutely love to see your faces. We'd love to interact with you, and it really helps our guest speakers. So if you can, please turn on your video, so we're able to see each other, and that will greatly help everyone in the group as we're going through tonight's programming. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Hōkūlani Wa. If you don't know, Hōkūlani joins us from Kona, and she's with Project Hōkūlani in Kona. So she's going to speak to you a little bit tonight about scholarships. Super duper important for those of you who are already getting ready for your first year in higher education. So what Hōkūlani has to share with us tonight will be important information as you go on in your journey with us.
Aloha kako. Thank you everyone for zooming in. Again, I am from the west side of the Big Island in Kona. The rain has cleared for me. We were just chatting about this earlier. But if you're on Oahu, it's coming to you. But thank you again. It is nice, those of you with your cameras on, mahalo. Just a little bit, if you're able to get in the chat, if you could let me know in the chat, or if you're brave enough to unmute, let me know who's joining in and from where. I am curious who's in the room. I'm hoping, it is my hope that there are high schoolers in the room with you. But I understand I'm a mom and we're all doing all the different things that we have to do. So if possible, could you type in the chat at the very bottom of your screen? There might be 3 dots, or you might see a chat button with the little bubble. If you could type who's in the house with you, where you are, anything about yourself if you want, but I'll get in there and I'll type in aloha from Kona. Hit return and I can just check in, just get to know who's in the house. Aloha. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we got the north end of the Hawaii all the way across to Kauai. Beautiful. Thank you for zooming in. And we'll keep chatting. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I know my time is short. And so I will start off here. So welcome aboard, Project Hōkūlani. We thank you for participating with us. Biggest part of what goes on is participation, and know that your sons and daughters are surrounded by support with Project Hōkūlani. This is what I've asked, who's in the house with you? And the agenda that I'm going to take on is there on the left on your screen. And when I move into this scholarships portion, I just want you to know that it comes with a heart of gratitude and understanding finances and futures. Maybe not understanding it, but just the reality of we as a family and the support we give each other is aloha. And the individual that we expect to benefit, that we raise up, is the child, is your sons and daughters. So we all have the same focus, yeah? And in this heart of gratitude, I'm asking the question before we start is, who's driving this conversation of scholarships? And you need to look around the room, and my guess, because I'm a parent, the drive was right here. And we really need to bring our sons and daughters into the conversations. Who's driving the scholarship conversation? Is it the student? Is it the parent? And why? And I think most of us are adults in the room, and we get it. Like, we're gonna pay anyway. And I want to make sure that our young people can hear the words that we care, that they're valuable, and that we're willing to pay and invest in their future. that comes with a price. So if our young ones are not interested, be careful. Yeah, I have to say up front, please don't get into debt. We're trying to look for our scholarships to help balance this out. And I want to bring up the analogy of a driver's permit. Just because you're 16 and a half doesn't mean you get it. You have to work towards it. Just because you get your driver's permit doesn't mean you have a car, doesn't mean you can drive the best. It is a process. And when you get your driver's license, it doesn't mean that everything's solved. There's still insurance and gas and destinations to get to. So I just keep that in mind in your conversations. And I'd like to just overview, looking at what college tuition, why we're looking at scholarships. And here on the screen, you can see in general, on average, this is what they're saying is a private school cost, $42,000. A public out of state, so for us in Hawaii, out of state would be any state that we're not in, around $23,000. And in-state tuition, so our Manoa, UH Hilo, West Oahu, and Maui, around $10,000. I don't want you to be duped. There's something missing in this picture, and it's over here in this corner, and it's housing and food. I bring it up because it's something crucial for me. I live on the Big Island. So if my children or people from the Big Island would like to go to UH Manoa, they have to include or consider the cost of housing and food, because they will have to leave my home. They'll have to leave the island to attend Oahu. So in scholarship format, if your kids are living with you and they have the opportunity to go to UH Manoa, you're already got a scholarship of $10,000 to $15,000 if you don't charge them rent. That's the children in your house. So you're already beginning to see I'm going to ask you to evaluate that idea of scholarship when students are living at home, going to an in-state college. So there's a bonus to that. And as these average costs for a private school, please tack on another $10,000 to $15,000 for housing if they go to a private school or an out-of-state school. You have to keep that in mind. A lot of times we'll give you free tuition. Just know in the back of your head that there's still housing and food that you need to take care of. And in general, it used to be 10,000. Today it's changing pretty quick. It's 10,000 to 15,000. You have to just add on to your budget. I wanted to show you a little bit of how UH Manoa is advertised. There are two great college search features that you can take a look at. Big Future, put out by College Board, advertises UH Manoa. And I want you to see the comparisons. In-state tuition, it's $11,000. Yeah. People from out of state will pay $33,000. And again, this is just tuition. So at the bottom, you have to tack on housing. Again, if they're living in your house, scholarship already. Unless they have kuleana, chores, wash the car, pay the gas. I don't know. You come up with it. There's another college search called College Simply. And it does the same thing. And it shows you the prices that they come up with. There's sticker price, just like cars. The tuition holds the same in-state and out-of-state. I wanted to just briefly point out on both sides, the price changes. This is the average cost they're advertising, and up here on Simply College, College Simply, this is dependent on your income. So just like buying a car, they slide that bad boy depending on your scholarship you get. So if you're making, this is right, if you're making less than $30,000 in your household, on average, people are paying $8,000, almost $9,000 for tuition, okay? If you're making around or more than $110,000 for your household for that dependent child, it would be for UH Manoa about $20,000. So there's a sliding scholarship, and sometimes it's based on the FAFSA and other scholarships you get. Okay, so that's just kind of the big picture idea. So again, as we head into this, I go into this with a heart of gratitude, with aloha. I want you to consider who's driving the conversation in your house. And I know as a parent, it's us, because we'll be paying. If we elevate our students, our children, they have to really be the drivers of it. You have to understand they need to want it, and they need to want to excel. And it's a very hard discussion. If we just tell our kids, go do the scholarships, more often they're not. It's got to be a team effort. So if you want my help, you cook dinner. I'll open up the links and I'll tell you when to show up and get on this. So I want to constantly bring back who's driving it. In the end, what your child should hear is, I love you and I will help you pay for this. You do your part and I'll do the best I can with my part. I also want to preface that organization is crucial. I'm going to walk you through a few scholarships, and I just want you to know that they ask for similar things. So create a file or have your child create it on their drives. Be careful of using their high school emails. You want to own the documents after they graduate. Keep track of all the deadlines that come through. Stay organized. You can be the overseer of all that they do. No, you can't. Christmas break. Oh, great. I get 2 of those days and we're doing scholarships, and here's your PowerPoint. Here's your chart to fill out which ones you went on, what time you went on, where's the link. Notice that they'll ask for similar items so you can create a file. This is crucial. This bullet down here. This information that I'm sharing is yours. I'm not the keeper of it. You might be joining me this evening. I'm trying to share it out so you don't have to where is that lady that shared this thing? I want to show it to you so you own it. Okay, so when you hear the scholarships available, you should be able to go back to those websites and get the information. And a big deal is for students to know their high school college counselor, or just their high school counselor. Your high school counselor knows the most recent scholarships available. Okay. And it's really crucial that your son and daughter know where they're, and have you seen the college counselor? Ask them, boy or girl. Ask them, what is their room number? Upstairs, downstairs. Those are just test questions. When they answer then you got to go in. You can make calls. My son's coming in, my daughter's coming in, and then work that way. Okay. So
there is
yes.
a question. Which grade do you start applying for scholarships?
You'll see that
11?
a lot of them are already open. Thank you for reading that for me. I'm not looking at my chat. Yeah.
11th grade or 12th grade?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Usually it's your senior year, but as you see the information come up, people are already starting to write personal statements. You can see the questions. You can see the questions in the scholarships this year, and you can build the answers for next year. A lot of times the questions are the same. And I always tell them, if you got an English teacher and you got to write a 2-page paper, guess what? Do it on one of the scholarships. And then they'll have their access to editing and proofing, and they can give you tips on the best application pieces.
I see. Thank you so much.
Yes, great questions. And thank you, Yoko, for speaking up. I'm not looking at my, I wanted to show you the ʻOhana website. And again, I'm doing this because you own the information, not me. And this is ʻOhana.org, their website, but it's the best format I've seen. It's so fun. They call it ipu ka'eo, a full ipu calabash. And here, and again, I don't own this information. It's on the web, so I share it with you at ʻOhana, yeah, ʻOhana.org. And I just love the format that it comes out in. Here is one of the scholarships, and I'll cover it again. Hawaii Community Foundation. They have a live link. These are some of the ʻOhana related scholarships within the Hawaii Community Foundation. All of these are within, that's one application, and I'll go to it a little bit further. The other one, and again, I don't own this. You don't need a printed copy from me. You go on ʻOhana.org. It's just, they roll these out. The Hawaii Civic Club scholarships. And the civic clubs usually are generally in the area. But if you are tied in any way to any of them, apply for them. But they're here. And these are all the civic clubs that scroll down. Ko'olapoko. More Native Hawaiian scholarships, and these are tucked within. These look like the Kamehameha ones, but they're with Chaminade. Yeah. The Gates Millennium. And you see how, like, I'm just scrolling on their website. You click on these links, your son or daughter can have access to them. And I'll have some open later. Native Hawaiian Health scholarships, those in the nursing field. We head into some of our University of Hawaii tuition waivers, which is fabulous. That sounds like the whole thing. And right away you go, oh, I wonder if housing is included. That's the always, oh, tuition, that's great. Sometimes equal money, 50-50, is you're still going to pay for housing. Well, I have to because I don't live near a four-year university. Honolulu Community College, they also have tuition waivers. Alulike, great Hanalima scholarships, especially in trades. Second Century, University of Manoa scholarships, and they have access to all of the schools there. Support services for Native Hawaiian students. Again, University of Manoa, I don't know, if you live on Oahu, you're gonna probably have free housing. If you don't mess up your relationship with your parents, probably free, or potentially a small rent. Can go well for you. So all of these are available. Community colleges, just know, and when I see universities offering scholarships, what I begin to see is they want you. They want you as a student, and they want you to stay with them until you graduate. So those are very strong scholarships, especially if you get accepted there. So I did want to share out. Sorry, I forgot how to do the presentation mode. Okay, so that was ʻOhana. That's just one, but it showed. I did want to share Hawaii Community College. That's the same one I shared with you. Just the overview of their page. So the question was, when should you apply? It's open, yeah. Application opens December 12th, just opened as a senior. So if you're a junior, usually you can jump on in there and check them out. They do keep your information, and every year as a freshman in college, sophomore, junior, senior, you still want to reapply, okay? Every year. So you save your login information as well. And over 400 scholarships with this one. Okay, I gotta watch my time. I did want to show you what the Hawaii Community Foundation looks like. This is their website. Scrolling down in it, grants and scholarships is where you want to go, and then it tells you everything about applying. And again, you see how, like, I'm not keeping this information, it's already open. Once you put one application in, they filter it depending on how you answer their questions, and you're applying to over 400. Okay, another one to look at is the Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation. And here, I know on my screen, I put a note that says, know your high school counselor. I'm on the Big Island, so I know of these Rotary scholarships, and they're site specific. This one, I know this is the actual Rotary application. Sorry, I'm gonna start at the top so you trust me. And again, I don't own this information. I don't need to get you a heart. You can type in Rotary scholarships. You see the deadline, February 1st, and it just tells you what's available. You can keep getting awards if your scholarship, if your essay is great, they compete you out. You can get $1,000 if you're really one of the best. You go into the challenge one more time and see if you can get the $5,000 scholarship. If you're doing really great through interviews, potentially being the $10,000 scholarship recipient. And again, criteria. They want you to be enrolled but they show you the instructions, and you'll begin to see that most scholarships ask you for the same things. Complete the application. You need a letter of recommendation. These are, in the Rotary, they tell you only one. So I know my West Hawaii, you got to choose only one of these guys. And sometimes you know which one's the more competitive one, or you know the people. And this is the actual application. Click, 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 click. Okay. They do have, and this is, you should see over and over again, your son or daughter should have a file that has the copy of their high school transcript. FAFSA is not open yet, but it's coming. Your resume and personal statement, you need one of those. They're constantly asking for it. This one, 800 to 900 words, and they tell you the size of the font. Young ones, if you're listening, 800, 900, not too bad. But guess what? You better be concise. Your words, choose your words wisely. It might be worth your time. I want to go back. Okay, that's the Rotary. And again, I share this with you because it's out there. Did you know this one's out there? I love the commercials. Their deadline, February 15th, 1 page or less. And see these two questions? Your junior year, there was a question, should we start? See if you can answer these questions and see if somebody will give you $1,000. Tell us about yourself and why you need the scholarship. Number 2, how will you use your degree to benefit and serve our community? And that second question, I think, is super valuable. It should be asked, because if I'm giving away money, I want you to share it. You know, how are you going to give back? Okay, I just checked my time. Sorry. Here we go. I want you to consider faith-based scholarships. Here's one that came up in this Scholars app, but it's also tied into Central Union. They're not the only faith-based scholarship, but I want you to know that many of your churches or anywhere you participate, oftentimes they'll have scholarships available. So please check in to your churches or wherever you spend your time, all right? And these are some of the descriptions that they're asking for. Note here, in this particular scholarship, only the first 50 completed applications will be renewed. So there's a time crunch on that one, yeah? The deadline is in February 28th, but only the first 50 will go. I do want to share out the Kamehameha Schools scholarships that are available. They kind of have 2 flagships going on, and I want to share both. And I share this, we all know Kamehameha Schools is a great funder, but I also want to remind you that I'm a graduate from Kamehameha. So wherever you or your parents or grandparents are legacy or graduated from, a lot of times check back with those schools. They offer scholarships to students. Yeah. So this happens to be my alma mater. So I check back with them, and I kind of got a big push for them. So they have 2 facets that Kamehameha offers. One side, 3 simple steps, kind of big steps, but there are 3 simple steps to fill out an application for college. They do not, I know with the Kamehameha Schools college scholarships, they do not look at the FAFSA. So this is something you can start on right now. What they use is a CSS profile, which is similar. It just assesses the parents' assets and financial outcomes, I guess, that they determine what you can afford and begin to set that up. I just want to preface that in order to apply for it, you do step number 1 and complete it, then the application begins, just so you know. So you don't have to apply, like you got to do step number 1. And once you start step number 1 and complete it, press submit, the rest follows. Yeah. On the other side of the KS house are people who've graduated from Kamehameha Schools and they want to give back. They have this idea of always giving back. And you can't give money to a nonprofit, well, to the Kamehameha Schools. So what they created was the Pauahi Foundation. So a lot of the Pauahi Foundation are alumni or other Native groups that need someone to care for their funds and would like it dispersed. And so over 400 scholarships are in the Pauahi Foundation. Just like that, you apply once and it sees what you're eligible for. So another, just like Hawaii Community Foundation, this one offers 400, Hawaii Community Foundation over 200. Checking the time. I think there's one more. Oh, okay. So I put this, oh, went too fast. I put Hawaii Community this is my bank here in Kona. But within my credit union and the banks, the credit union, these scholarships are available within my branch on the Big Island. And so again, you go to your, in mine, it's the Hawaii This Island Community Credit Union. They offer scholarships all the time. And I just know one of my daughters received it, and they have many that you can apply for. Watching the time. I do want to let you know about the WUI schools, which is kind of a different way to look at scholarships, but there is a website called the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education. Once you get in this website, you click it. This is what I know it to be, WUI, Western Undergraduate Exchange. So these states here have made an agreement that I'll pay some in-state, you pay some out-of-state, and we'll kind of meet in the middle. So these are two examples I put up here. For University of Hawaii at Manoa, residents pay $11,000, non-residents pay $33,000. The WUI tuition will be $16,000. You're a resident, so we're going to pay $11,000 regardless. But this helps out-of-state people. So this top button is here, says that your scholarship, your WUI savings is $16,000. Get it? Okay, and that's the deal, people coming to Hawaii. So I just pulled one in Montana. Residents of Montana would pay $6,000. We from Hawaii would pay $29,000 to go there. But as a WUI participant, I would pay $9,000 tuition. Not, gotta add on 10, 15 for housing. But that's $9,000 tuition. My scholarship already, by choosing a WUI school from one of these websites or these states, not everybody participates, but some universities do. That's my scholarship. I begin to get into the area of in-state tuition. Montana, $9,000. UH Manoa, $11,000. Curious. Do I live at home? $11,000. Do I go to Montana? $9,000. Consider housing and food. Okay, that's just a strange scholarship. Don't forget, America will help you if you join the armed forces. Am I going the right way? And I do want to mention in my last minute, the FAFSA. It's a great way to get funding. It's not open yet. You can try. It's not open yet. What they're asking you to do right now is to get an FSA ID. What that means is that you just need an ID to log in. So they want an email and some and it's set up a password. So as soon as it opens, they want to know your information. I want to advertise this thing. So this is the sign you'll see if you put in FAFSA, FAFSA, I can't even spell it, FAFSA. The main thing, when you hit these federal student aid, it has to be free. If any is advertising that you pay anything, you're on the website and they're going to take your information. FAFSA is free, but there's an estimator. If you put in FAFSA estimate, this fun thing shows up and I tell you should play with it. So here's an estimate I did. I was just playing with it. And it says federal estimate student aid. I might get $7,481. Look carefully at your outcome. It says I don't get any grant. That's zero. I didn't get free money. Whatever I typed in was too much. They're offering me a loan and a work study. That's what they're offering me. I didn't get my free money. I got a loan, and I got to try not to get your loan. Do not, you have to do the best you can, but always take a work study if offered. And this is just an estimate. That's all you can do in FAFSA right now. You don't even need to set up an account. You can just play with the estimator. So if you type in FAFSA and estimator. Okay. That's it. I just want to remind you again, stay organized. All scholarships are asking for the same things. I want to encourage you be a win-win situation. Student driver, parent driving, we're all gonna win together. So thank you for your time.
Mahalo Kumukanani. Very, very useful information. Keep in mind that if you're a junior or senior, you want to start kind of compiling your file. And then if you're a senior, seriously get to know your college counselor and, you know, use them as a resource. Right now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our two next guest speakers who will be sharing with you. Dr. Kamuela Young, the first Native Hawaiian to earn a PhD in applied mathematics, serves as an associate professor at the University of Hawaii West Oahu. Recognized for his exceptional teaching, he received the 2019 Francis Davis Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching and the 2020 University of Hawaii Regents Medal for Excellence in Teaching. As the co-founder of Indigenous Mathematics, he has not only identified and united over 50 Indigenous scholars with a doctorate in mathematics, but has also nurtured a diverse community that includes students. Currently, he pioneers curriculum development, infusing Pacific Island navigation perspectives into mathematics education. Simultaneously, he is crafting a groundbreaking free online textbook, Trigonometry Through Wayfinding and Navigation Access Across the Pacific, reflecting his commitment to accessible and culturally enriching education. Dr. Young's trailblazing journey merges mathematics, teaching excellence, and a deep connection to Pacific Island heritage, leaving an enduring impact on academia and beyond. He's definitely someone that you want to remember and get to know. We also have with us Ms. Keota Flannery Olevar, educator and STEM specialist who has a strong passion for sharing and connecting science to her home and culture. As a Kanaka scientist, indigenizing science and supporting Kanaka to become future STEM leaders who represent us as a vast and knowledgeable people, which is important to her. So it's really an honor for us to have these two very, very smart Kanaka, Akamai Kanaka, with us tonight to share. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this like a panel or a popcorn type of discussion. So I'm going to throw out some questions and let's hear their mana'o tonight. And how they got to where they are and how they're doing, how their journey into doing all these wonderful things that we shared about as I introduced them. So Dr. Kamuela, can you tell us about your academic and your career pathway?
Oh yeah, sure. Hi. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, so I always loved math and I didn't know what to do in math. And so when I went to the college, I majored in civil engineering because I figured, well, engineers, that's what you do with math. And I went to school at Loyola Marymount University, LMU. And forgive me, I'm just getting over a cold. But yeah, so at LMU, I majored in engineering and it was good, but I had to take a lot of math classes and I took a couple more and I got a minor in math. And my friends were like, you know, they kept taking more math classes too. So I took a couple more and next thing you know it, I'm on my way to getting a second degree. And so I double majored in math and civil engineering, still not knowing what mathematicians do, even though that's now my major. But it really was a professor that really just changed my life. She showed me what applied math does, that you can create mathematical models to model the world around us, to model what needs to be done to protect endangered species. Or when we had COVID, we had the models were telling us how bad the disease was going to get. So there are a lot of mathematical models that could just model the world around us, and I thought that was amazing. And it really was this mentor that took time and to talk to me, to meet with me, to show me the different opportunities. She even the work that I did in her class, she had me present it at a national conference, which is really an amazing thing to do. And that's where I met all these people that the chair of a graduate program at the University of Iowa, and that really made me want to go into graduate school. I still thought I was going to go into engineering, but I did apply to one math, and that was Iowa, and I got into all of the programs. But the reason why I ended up choosing Iowa in math was because they actually gave me in math. If you're getting your PhD, they'll fund you the full way. And I thought, well, I could try it. If I don't like it, the worst that could happen is that I didn't lose any money and I got some experience. The best that could happen is like I could do math models towards engineering. And so I started to do that. Now the academics were quite hard. I mean, like my first semester in undergrad, for one of my scholarships, I got placed on academic probation in terms of the scholarship. And that was just because I made the adjustment was one thing, but I thought, I could still do the same practices that I did in high school and college, but it's at a different pace. And so, I kind of slacked off and I got back up on the saddle. In grad school, my first year, basically it was tough. It was really tough. And we had to take these exams at the end of our first year, qualifying exams, and we need to pass them in order to continue on to our PhD. And I passed 2 of them at the PhD level, and 1 of them I didn't pass. And so I needed to retake my test again. And if I failed it the second time, they would kick me out of the program. And and it was a really, really tough thing for me to recognize that. I did find out later on, like one time I was speaking at a panel, and all the people at the panel, no one passed their qualifying exam the first time. So I mean that was nice, but that was after the fact. In the moment when I didn't pass it, it felt really bad. But sometimes these tests aren't an indicator of like who you will be as how successful you'll be in your career. And it was tough. My first year in graduate school, I really felt like maybe I didn't belong there. Like they accepted me because they wanted to have like a token minority student that they could brag about. And so I did write this article. I just dropped it in the chat, and I have my students read it a lot every year, and they get sort of about the doubts that I had. I thought I was ready to quit, that I didn't belong there, that someone else deserved my spot and not me. And my students find it refreshing to see someone successful as like their professor having the same internal doubts that they're going through in college, because it can be really tough being far away or even just in a different school, in a whole different setting, to feel that way. So I did write this article so that others can feel that it was okay. And one of the things is the class was so tough. Like I didn't even know what was going on. I had no idea. But then no one was asking questions because everyone was really smart, and so I didn't want to look stupid and say, "Whoa, hold up, I'm so lost." There's like one kid that asked questions, but his questions were so smart. I didn't know what the question was. I couldn't even know what the question was, let alone the answer. But come to find out, well, if everyone was so smart, not asking questions, and I didn't ask questions, what do you think the person next to me was thinking when they look at me not asking questions? They're lost, and they're looking at this dude, and they're like, "Wow, he must know what's going on because he's not asking questions." And the person behind her is looking up, and they're like, "Wow, these people are so smart. They don't have any questions." Everybody was so lost, but no one wanted to ask questions. And so now, and I write about this in the article, but now as the professor, and I get and I know what the students are thinking, because they talk to me one-on-one. They're not going to raise their hand in the big class and say, "I'm so lost," but they all have that same doubt. And so it's it is tough, but knowing you know, it's tough to ask questions to make yourself look vulnerable, but if you can, it can really make a big difference. But there's so many resources out there. There's tutoring centers, there's other things. And really what helped me get through college and then graduate school was finding a really strong group of friends. Sometimes one friend, sometimes like a group of like 5 friends, and we just get together and we do homework. We would go out, you know, have dinner or whatever, have fun too. But then we would always make sure that, you know, we're doing work. If we have questions, you know, we can bounce our homeworks off of each other. Sometimes we'll work together. Sometimes we'll work next to each other, but doing our own thing. But just having that group of friends really helped. And then having someone that I could confide into. Finally, you know, I trusted someone enough to say I'm so lost. Someone a year ahead of me, and they told me that that's how everyone feels, just no one's saying it. Having that, and then having a mentor, a faculty mentor, really someone I could talk to, I could trust, helped get me through that. But after that first year, after I didn't pass my qualifying exam, I passed it the next time, and then I became the first in my cohort to propose my thesis, to finish my thesis and schedule my defense. I was the first to be offered a job outside of the university. And I mean, and the rest, you know, you heard my introduction. So I mean, I would consider myself to be successful, you know, especially becoming the first Native Hawaiian to get a PhD in applied math. But you know, looking back, there were so many obstacles that happened, and these obstacles aren't just something that you know, like it's challenging, but it's a matter of using the resources that you have, the people that you can trust to help me get through it. It's not that I was smart, you know. I would have passed everything immediately if I was really just, you know, brilliant. It was I didn't give up, and I looked for the people that could help me. So that's my long journey.
Mahalo, Dr. Kamuela. You know, so much mana'o in what he shared, and so encouraging in sharing with you some of the challenges that he faced and how he overcame those challenges to get to where he is today. And, you know, some of the struggles that he experienced, but the resources that were there that he could tap into. Kumu Keora, can you tell us what or who motivated you to go into the STEM field and the pathway that you followed? How did your ʻOhana play a role in that pathway?
Yeah, I was always just a total science kid, ever since I was little. But when I think back with my family to like my great grandparents, my tutu came from Paniolo, and animals were always a really big part of my life growing up. I mean, you know, after my tutu's generation, we didn't really like have land or anything, but we always had animals in the house. They're always, and I think that just kind of just being surrounded by that really kind of helped foster my love of animals. And so my family was always encouraging of my love of nature and science and being outside. And so it was just kind of in my young years, deciding to go into biology was just kind of expected, I guess, like, and not discouraged in any way within my family. Yeah, but I think it's just, yeah, I was always surrounded by wildlife, pets, and my family was really encouraging. So that's kind of what led me into that field.
If you had to do anything differently, or if you were to start over at a younger age, like when you were in high school, Kumu Keora, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, I think because I was very passionate about something, I didn't explore as much as I wasn't aware there were so many other options too. And there's so many other things that I found out like in later college courses and then just through life experience, that there are so many other careers that are even related to science. Like I found that I really like to write, and maybe I would have taken creative writing and kind of merged something with like science. And that's kind of something I'm exploring now as I'm older. But, you know, I think I was so, and my family was really encouraging with my love of science and everything. But that I took that path really, really seriously. And when I look back, when you're young, I do think it's a time to like explore and try other things. And yeah, I kind of, and also knowing just that your path doesn't have to be set in stone from such a young age. As I'm finding, I feel like now I'm in my like almost mid-30s, and I only feel like now I'm starting to kind of fully blossom into the things that I am supposed to start doing, if that makes sense. Yeah, just because I've had more experience. And yeah.
Yep, definitely. Dr. Kamuela, is there anything that you would have done different if you were to start over?
I mean, there's probably a lot, you know, I think, you know, I would have taken, there are a lot more opportunities that I could have had. I didn't go to any, like, there's like free math tutoring. I didn't go to the math department for any of the free math tutoring. I mean, like tutoring is like 20 bucks an hour if you hire a private tutor or more. And I could have taken advantage of that instead of struggling sometimes, or gone with my friends when we had help, instead of just like struggling for hours, staying up late at night. And then sometimes there were some other opportunities that you know I said no to just because I thought you know I was having more fun. Um uh but yeah, I mean I think uh being able to ask for help was is a good one. And you know, when you get to know your professors and whatnot, like having that relationship with them can really help build a lot. I mean, you have more insight into the class, but then you also, when it comes time for applying for scholarships, the professors that know who the students are really, like, you know, like they can write a much stronger recommendation than one who, like, you just show up in class, you just answer the questions and that's it. And so, like, and I tell my students that, you know, like, maybe not the professor that gives you that you got 100% in, if that's the only thing that they know you on, then their letter of recommendation is just going to say, this person's in my class, they got 100%, and that's it. As opposed to someone else that, like, this person started off in my class, they were struggling around like in the 70 percentile, but they came to office hours, they worked hard, they were doing homework corrections, their next test they got into the B, and you know, they kept working at it, they kept coming at it, and they finished off the semester with like a solid B plus A minus. I think that's a much stronger recommendation, and it talks about character much more than just like, this person's in my class and they have 100%, because that's all I can write about if that's all that I know about you. So, you know, going in, being able to have you know, that relation with professors, I think would have been much more useful. I sometimes I did it, sometimes I didn't. But yeah, it would have been helpful, like, for the times that I was really struggling and whatnot.
Mahalo. You know, at this time, we'd like to ask any of our Haumana that are here, or the Makua, if you folks have any questions for Dr. Kamuela or Kumu Kiora. If you can unmute your mic, or you can drop it in the chat, up to you. Anyone have questions, or even for Kanani? Anyone have questions for Kumu Kanani on scholarships and financial aid? No, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and Kumu Kamuela and Kumu Kiora, do you folks have any last words that you'd like to share with our students and families that are here?
Yeah, I'll start. So, you know, it's great to have a plan going into college and throughout, but you know, always be open. You never know what opportunities are gonna arise or what things that you didn't know about before going into college. And because there's things that, you know, maybe you or your family or even, you know, your counselors might not know about, and but it's not until you're at that moment and something that comes up. So if there's something that you like, you know, be open to it. And because I never would have thought I'd become a mathematician. I was an engineer, and I just kept taking more classes, and I did this project and I applied and all that, and I changed my career, and it was really hard for me to walk away from or to not identify as an engineer. But I think being a mathematician is amazing, and I still can do engineering problems, but as a mathematician now, like I'm creating like mathematics that's taught through like Ike Kupuna, through this like ancestral knowledge. And I'm hoping, you know, in a few years that we can, you know, redesign like the way that math is taught in this state. But you know, like if I had just said, no, I'm an engineer, this is my plan, these are the classes I was going to take, and I stuck to it, you know, I never would have had this opportunity. So, you know, be open to things, because I didn't know that math was actually a career. I just knew like careers that involved math. So you just be open to things.
Yeah, I feel like I just kind of more expanding on that too is just I feel like I can't add much more, but yeah, I really do. Like, don't go in really with a plan, go in maybe with a guide, like kind of, you know, because yeah, it will change. Like, I never thought I would become a STEM educator and curriculum developer, but I don't know, that's what happened. I thought I was going to go fully into just like biology. And then I just had some experiences teaching, and I was like, oh, I really like this. So yeah, being open to trying things. Like, don't be like me where I actually took all of my gen ed classes my senior year of college, because I was like, I was just really, you know, hardcore, I guess. I was like, I'm gonna get this degree and whatever. And then I was like, I'll have an easy senior year. I took all my 100 level general ed, and then I ended up taking classes like sociology, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. If I'd actually taken it in the beginning, maybe I would have, you know, double majored in this or something, you know, done something with science and sociology, because that is like a big field now. So yeah, being open to all of that, and then also kind of expanding on what Dr. Kamala Young said, seeking help using all those resources, because I kind of was the same. I didn't reach out when I could have went to tutoring, or even mentoring, building your community, finding both peers, but also, again, professors, faculty that can help guide you and that you really connect with. Somebody who makes you feel good about your journey, not somebody who makes you feel like you can't do it. So that's the important thing. Like, if your advisor is telling you, oh, you can't do this or whatever, go request another one. You want somebody who's gonna actually encourage you on your journey.
Mahalo. I am going to turn this back over to Yoko, who will close us, but also talk about the evaluation.
Okay, thank you so much for coming today. And now that I will put the link for the feedback. We use this as a sign-in sheet, so please fill this out. And then we, if you are already joined the ʻOhana gathering, and we are going to start sending the gift card next year, January, yeah. So next January, we're gonna meet each other, January 17th. We're gonna have a guest speaker as well, and she's going to talk about financial literacy. Okay, mahalo for coming, and thank you.
Sorry, Yoko, I just
Yes.
saw a question in the
Oh,
chat from
okay.
one of the parents. And this I'm assuming is directed to Hōkūlani. What should they be working on now? Is it applications or scholarships, FAFSA, essays, etc.? It seems overwhelming, or in what order?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. It does feel overwhelming. That's why it has who's driving, and it feels this way for students as well. So as parents and students, we look down at our kids like, get it done. They're not sure where to start. You have to take it slow. You can say FAFSA, but guess what? It's not open. So got that done. What you can do with FAFSA just to feel better. And that's not all the eggs in one basket. What it is a stepping stone. Like, I don't think, and I'm not the FAFSA advisor, the most you can get, it'll be around 8,000. So it's just the stepping stone. It's not the answer. And again, I showed you a false one, like, oh, they're going to give me 7,000, but 5,000 is in loans. I don't want loans. Just saying. But in what order? You've got to, I'd say, they're all asking, all scholarships will ask for something. So you start to organize the one you grab, what gravitated to you, start with that. Like I saw February 1st deadline, I might start by deadlines. If you're in 11th grade, start by knowing those questions in your head. And can you know, the ride to school. Hey, so what is your plan for the future? And how are you going to give back? Go. But 3 stoplights, give me an answer. Start to formulate your answers that's valid and that you can rely on in an interview. It is overwhelming, like, yes, and that's why we're all sitting here. One step at a time. I can't advise you on what to do first. If you want to make a list, you're a list person, get your FSA ID. All it is look for FAFSA, give them your email and contact information. There, mark it off until they contact you because it's not open yet. Big deal with FAFSA. It's going to be tied to your taxes. So you have to accept the responsibility for that and consent for sharing. If you don't do that, then move on. Find the scholarships. It's hard when your sons or daughters are not committed to a school and what I hear now is the passion drives, but be open to change. And I'm sorry, I can't make a justifiable list for you. Make your own and start where you want to, but what's doable for you. All of them are scholarships and it's the way to save money. And it might be choosing a college. I can tell you what your backup plan is. Community college near your house. That's the first plan. You don't like it? Find another one. But that's your backup. I have to push education for a high schooler because they are at their best game right out of high school. Some, not most, I'd say 87%. Some need to go to work and do the hard knocks and unfortunately get fired and see, wow, everything's valuable. But make a list that's doable for you. And I apologize. It is overwhelming. So deep breath and just start where you want to, what feels successful to you. Don't choose the hard one. If it gives you stress, don't choose that one first. But just know scholarships are everything you listed there. Scholarships is doing, like your son or daughter, doing their own laundry, starting to help out at dinner, starting to pick up kuleana, starting to have real conversations about money. If you want to go party on the continent, that's something different. That's called a vacation. You're going to go to school here where we can afford and we're not taking out loans. It's real conversation and who's driving. And listen to your kids.
You know, I know that it's 7 o'clock and it's our end time, but I think, and Yoko, if you're okay with it, we also want to respect your time. So if you need to leave, you can go ahead and leave. I do see someone with their hand raised, and I think your question is important enough. I also, I'm gonna put my buddy on the spot, Larry, because Larry is the college counselor. Larry, do you have any mana'o on or tips on the financial aid aspect that you give your students at your school? Or the makua that's
Please
that's
unmute.
overwhelmed? Oh.
Hi, aloha, Lisa. Aloha, Makua. I actually just had a financial aid night with my school, Marino High School, last night. So if you were to ask me, go get your FAFSA ID now, tonight, if you're a senior. The question was, it's overwhelming, but my advice is work on your deadlines. So there's deadlines coming up. So make sure. So I am a high school college counselor. I ask my students to come in all the time. I reach out to my students all the time. So as parents, you gotta encourage your students to go seek out your college counselor, make an appointment. But one of the things I spoke about last night in our meeting is you gotta go get your FAFSA ID now before the FAFSA opens up at the end of the month. So again, FAFSA is going to open up. They told us December 31st. We pray for that. So for the seniors, right? So a lot of the scholarships right now are for seniors. Hawaii Community Foundation opened up yesterday. So actually I did some rec letters today for that. So again, but I would say do your FAFSA ID.
Mahalo, Larry.
And then also do your CSS profile. There is a lot of questions in the CSS profile. Don't give up, don't give in. So make sure you take steps to get all those little questions done, because there is a lot of questions.
Okay, mahalo for that. So now you work on deadlines and you get your FAFSA ID, work on your CSS profile. Jenny Ka'ahui, you have your hand raised. What question do you have for us?
Hi, it's Kayala. My mom's next to me. But
Okay, Kayala. Mahalo.
I was wondering about, I'm gonna do some college tours next February. And as a sophomore, do you have any tips or like suggestions on what questions I should ask the college while I'm there about like scholarships or just like other general information?
I might answer. Good to see you, Kiala. You really have to go on what you feel too when you go there, and it's exactly what you're thinking, and you want to be honest. I'm gonna have to leave my state and come here. What options might you have for me? I really like the way the facility over here look like. Do you provide aid in moving in, or but be as honest as you can in asking about it, but go with what you feel. Especially as a sophomore going in, you're kind of ruling it. Like you get to throw the bait out. Oh yeah, well, I'd love to come here. I'm talking to other schools, and begin to sell yourself as well and really get a feel of it, because you're going to go home and you're going to have to decide. So already in the scholarship realm, you're investing already on the trip. So take a look at the neighborhood. Take a look at what the daytime looks like. Consider what the weather's like throughout the year, and what kind of resources on campus that are going to keep you motivated in school. You might want to ask specialty areas of majors and exactly what our Kumar is saying. Are there student groups? How do you get involved? How do you stay connected? Do you see a group? Do you have community events? How do I check into the gym? Or, do you have busing? How do I get around town? Where's the nearest food source or a store that's nearby? And you really got to imagine yourself living there, especially if you have the privilege of going to the school.
Thank you so much. It gives me like more of a feeling because I've been like I'm excited to go, but since I'm getting the opportunity to come visit these colleges, I want to like best prepare myself for it, I guess. So I want to like know what to do, I guess, while I'm there. Thank you.
Yeah, I
You're
might
awesome.
add, you know, like what is there a Hawaii club? Is what kind of tutoring services are there? Um, in terms of entertainment, like there's like a campus activity board or whatever. Different schools have different names, but some places bring like concerts to campus, and comedy shows, like big name people depending on the university. Or is there a place nearby where people go? Or you know, if it's like LA, that's one thing, but if it's not, I mean, you know, maybe LA is a 5 hour drive and you can go to Disneyland, you know, for the weekend. You know, like it's, I know, like that's what we did, you know, when we were in Iowa. Chicago was a 5 hour drive. We'd wake up at 5 a.m. Go, and we spent the whole day in Chicago, or we spent the whole day in Minneapolis, you know, going to Mall of America. So, you know, like what kind of stuff is there? You know, are there if you like hiking, is there like a hiking club, or just those types of stuff to, you know, that's fun, what students do. You know, does it seem like there's places where students can go to just get work done, to relax, and you know, different opportunities on campus. Since you're there, you can visualize it, you can see it. You know, can you see yourself, you know, studying in the quad, or just like playing, you know, sitting out there on, you know, the first nice day of spring after a cold, dark, wet winter, you know, is this a place where you think like this is going to be awesome, you know, I can see myself here. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. Do you like big classes? You know, do you really need that small class interaction? You know, if it's a large school, you know, how do they supplement those large classes if you need that stuff? You know, big schools have more opportunities, but then you also get lumped in together with a bunch of other people. You know, you don't get that attention. So if you that's what you need, or that's not what you need. So kind of look at, you know, what you think is best, or that you need, and then see if that school has that or not.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else? Really good questions. Mahalo for being with us tonight. We'll have a great holiday season. Enjoy your winter break, and we will see you next year in 2024. Aloha.
Aloha. Bye.
Thank you for spending time with us. Aloha.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you,
You're
Kiora.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being a
Okay.
great host, Lisa. Awesome stuff.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Good to see you again and reconnect, Kanani. We'll reconnect next year too.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yoko. Take care, yeah.
Bye. Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, and Yoko, if you wanna, I don't know if my copy is the best one to share out, but you can redo it, or
Yeah,
make
I
a copy.
I will convert to the PDF file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like sometimes Kiara helps me with my links. Like the way I save them is weird. So either it's in my drive or I'm not doing it right, but Kiara always fixes me.
Okay, I'll check that out.
But I give you permission to do whatever you have to do.
Thank you so
And I
much.
know I have one last slide. You can just delete it, but sometimes I forget things. And I put my
Okay.
time stamp on there to keep in time, but I hide stuff. So you can take anything you want out or add whatever.
Okay. I don't think I will, but thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.